What's up, guys? This is Boondocks, and today I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite frames, Mirage. I like Mirage for two reasons. One, she can do a lot of damage that are enhanced by her abilities but don't directly stem from her ability. And two, you can actually spec her to be a really great endgame support build. So the easiest way of talking about this is by going through her abilities to begin with. So the reason she could do the most damage is from her Hall of Mirrors. Hall of Mirrors summons 4 doppelgangers around you that act kind of like a meat shield, so enemies have to shoot around them before they can hit you. So that makes her kind of tanky in its own weird way. But anything that hits like in an AoE from say like a Grenier Bombard will still do the damage to you, and that kind of sucks. But overall she's pretty powerful tank just from that. Additionally, while it looks like all 4 of your doppelgangers are firing, in fact only 2 of them are. And those 2 each do 38.6% of your damage with the build I currently have on. You can buff this up a few ways, and I'll talk about that when we get to it, but overall that's how it is. I spec for power and duration, which is why my duration on my Hall of Mirrors is almost 1 minute. Your second ability, Sleight of Hand, kind of trash. You make objects around you, whether they're ammo pickups or containers, you turn them into explosives, but the enemy has to fucking wander on by like a goddamn lost puppy in order to get blown up. So like a stupid blown up lost puppy. Anyway, rarely ever happens. Don't waste your energy on it. Eclipse, well, that ability is pretty fucking powerful. It has 2 different settings, whether you're standing in light or shadow. If you're in light, you get a damage multiplier based on your ability power, and while in shadow, you gain damage reduction. I currently have the highest damage reduction at 0.95, so you take almost nothing at all as long as you're in shadow. But as soon as I go in light, I almost do 4 times as much damage, which kind of gets ridiculous. Additionally, this ability, thanks to my duration, lasts for 46 seconds. My final ability, Prism, while it's still going to do a decent amount of damage, it's going to be a little too costly for me to be using all that often, and it's more for the utility that you get from it that I enjoy, and that's why I'm going to talk about that more when I get onto this support build. So, how do I spec her for damage? Well, first I toss on an Energy Siphon. Even though she's not a very energy-heavy frame, I put this on just to help other players, plus it has the dash polarity slot, so I want the increased capacity. Feel free to swap that out for anything you want, whether it's corrosive projection or pretty much anything. So then, like I was saying, I focus on the duration mostly because I'm lazy, and this duration will help me not worry about my energy efficiency or energy in general, because I'm only going to be casting Hall of Mirrors like once a minute. I'm not going to be spending all that much. So to get the high duration, I'm going to be using my Narrow-Minded, my Continuity, and my Constitution. Of course, my Narrow-Minded could go a little bit higher. I haven't leveled it up yet. I then do take Streamline just to kind of help a little bit with my efficiency that I lose from queuing up my Blind Rage. So with the Blind Rage and Intensify, I already get the 193% damage. What you could do is, instead of having Continuity on there, I could drop the Rush and put on Transient Fortitude. This will now bump my damage from each one of my doppelgangers to like 40-something%, and my damage in the light to like 4.2%. So, or 4.2 multiplier. So, make the call. That's on you. I personally like the duration due to my laziness. As far as tanky stat goes, well, you can already be kind of tanky. My just in case button is having redirection. Now, once again, I could technically drop that if I had formed properly. I could drop that and then put on the Transient Fortitude. Fortunately, I cannot, thanks to Transient Fortitude being 15. I'm 1 short. So with that in mind, I'm just going to stick with my redirection. Thank you very much. Thanks to the innate tankiness, though, from her skills, feel free to drop the redirection or the Continuity, pretty much anything. I then also have a Syndicate mod, Hall of Malevolence. This increases my doppelganger's damage by 5% each time I get a kill. And with the damaging build, you're usually getting a decent number of kills. So, Hall of Malevolence. Try to get it. As far as my support build goes, I'm going to once again use the energy siphon, and then once again go for the duration. So the duration this time isn't out of laziness, it's out of the support utility that I'm looking for. So I'm going to toss on narrow-minded, continuity, and constitution, just to increase my duration. I'm then going to take natural talent. The reason I want natural talent is I'm going to be using my 4th ability. And whenever Mirage uses her 4th ability, she does like a fucking Kamehameha wave or some shit in order to cast it. And just like in Dragon Ball, it takes fucking forever for her to cast. So natural talent just to speed up the process a bit. And yeah. I then put on a flow because on this build, I might need to be able to cast my prism a couple more times. So flow, I feel, is a little bit more important. Just so that way I have that increased energy. I then take streamline to make it so that I can cast my 4th ability that much more and actually be able to get the full effect out of it. Then I'm going to take overextended because I'm not worried about doing damage with it, but I am worried about affecting as many enemies as possible, so the increased range from overextended and stretch is pretty necessary. And let's just take a quick look at these stats. As you can see, Hall of Mirrors now does almost no damage, Eclipse is almost worthless, and Sleight of Hand is always trash, so ignore that to begin with. What is important though is your prism. The ability now has a 56 meter radius and a blind duration when it detonates for almost 35 seconds. So what does this mean? You can Kamehameha out a prism and then instantly detonate it. You're not casting it to try to get any type of damage done. You're just casting it and detonating it, and pretty much all the enemies that can possibly see you are now blinded. Blinded enemies aren't hurting you or your team, and that makes her ridiculously powerful. So this is an amazing support build. But I'm going to just swap back to my damaging setup for now. So, what weapons really work well on her? While this is probably more of a preference thing, I prefer using weapons that are typically longer reload time, a little harder to use, like the Tonkor, or things that chain to other enemies and will do a lot better with continuous fire. So for that reason, the Tonkor, like I said, you'll now be shooting out 3 grenades instead of 1. And I'm not going to actually show that. The other things that I would recommend, Amprex, yeah, why not? I would skip things like Dread or any type of highly accurate weapon that takes time to cast. Just preference here. Doesn't really suit what I find to be Mirage's playstyle, which is more of a lay waste to everything in its path. Maybe the Phage, if that suits your fancy, the Quanta, the Simular, and the Cyanide Simular, which one I'm going to talk about in a second. The Torrid, because now you're going to be shooting out 3 volleys of the poison. You're going to kind of create a much larger field of death. But the real beauty is the Simulars. So the way the Simulars work is they shoot out these little balls, and once enough balls stack on each other, they explode. Once they explode, it becomes a black hole, sucking in all enemies and doing damage constantly over the time as long as enemies are near it. And you can continually shoot balls inside to make it grow even stronger. So normally you'd have to shoot, I believe with the Cyanide Simular, 5 balls into each other, and that kind of gets annoying because it's not exactly the fastest firing weapon in the game. But when you have it on Mirage with the split chamber mod on, now each time you fire, there's a good chance you're going to be firing out, instead of 2 from the split chamber, there's a good chance you're going to be firing out 6 balls. So with that chance, they're going to instantly form a black hole each time, and the Cyanide Simular becomes that much more powerful. Finally, for her secondary, once again, I just love the Sonicer, so I use it on pretty much all my builds. But I like things that you can kind of sheet with, so, like put up a whole wall of fire. So things like the Hiko Prime, which fires ridiculously fast if you don't know, and then you could use your explosive mods on it. Or you can use things like the Atomos or the Gamma Core to once again just kind of put up a whole sheet of damage, and I generally find that to be fun. Finally, for melee weapons, I do anything that it's gonna reach from me to where my doppelgangers are whenever I attack. The reason being, you can now create like a wall of spinning death as you go through a melee attack, and I find that to be absolutely amazing when playing her. As far as your companions go, I take Carrier because I'm lazy, but take whatever you want. She's not that energy starved, so go with whatever one you find the most fun. And I will show how she works here in a second. And here we go. So, right away I pop out my Mirage, or my Hall of Mirrors, and I'm going to jump right off the fucking edge. Maybe not. This is a rescue mission, so I don't have to worry about like that many objectives, and it's a good way to show how to kill people without having to search down all those little hidden fuckers. I'm also going to pop on my shadow light bullshit, just in case I come across anything. Assuming I fucking do at some point here. Alright. And already I have a black hole formed. And let's see this one more time. Just fire once, and there's a black hole. The first time I shot it, I didn't get a lucky multi-shot proc, and that's why it didn't instantly form a black hole. But overall, you can see that it is pretty powerful. Again, these enemies are level 36, and just one shot took out a whole group of them, thanks to the Cyanide Simular. And this is what I was talking about as far as the Wall of Death. As you can see, all my fucking Mirages, my Hall of Mirrors, doppelganger fuckers, as long as an enemy kind of gets like in the cutting area, they instantly die from my melee. This is me without actually going into melee mode, so quick show of Sonicer. Boom. Fire out 3 Sonicer shots at once. Do a whole shit ton more damage. Get fucked. Get fucked. As you can see, she just kind of tears up fucking everything. And thanks to, depending on what weapon you're bringing, she's just going to buff it so fucking much that you can kill a lot of endgame content really quickly with her. When the, what was it, the Shadow Debt thing came out, I brought Mirage each time I went on one of the assassination missions against one of those different dumb assholes. There's a good chance I'm gonna fuck that hack. There's a good chance I'm gonna fail this rescue, depending on. Okay, it does have a timer. Nah, I'm fine. Nope. Okay, it's here. Whoa! I didn't have any of my defensive shit up, and that's what happens. I was just looking at that. I should have done like with Loki and waited to recast my abilities before dicking around, but you know, whatever. With Loki, a lot of the times, whenever I'm on a spy mission, I'll actually pause and take a second to recast my stealth before I try to hack something, especially on sorties, because some of those hacks take a considerable amount of time, and I just don't want to fuck them up. So Mirage also has a secret passive. She just gets increased movement, mobility, I believe. I think that there's a prereq to getting that increased movement, but don't totally remember what it is. I apologize for that. I had just looked it up last night as well, just while fucking around, looking up all the different weird passives, like the fact that Atlas can't get knocked down as long as his feet are on the ground. What are some of the other interesting ones? Avara has innate enemy sense, enemy radar. I knew all of them. Zephyr has the floatiness, but I mean, I think that was one of the first ones, and it was mostly just to like really flesh out her character design. But Mesa has a whole shit ton depending on like what weapon she has equipped. I know she gains 50 extra health if she doesn't have a melee weapon equipped. But yeah, there's Mirage just killing shit like right quick. So definitely give her a shot, guys. She's a whole lot of fun. You have to do a whole quest chain in order to unlock her, but once you get that done, she's one of my favorite frames. So until next time, good luck, have fun, peace.